Welcome to your Thursday morning yoga class. Excited to be here. The beginning of summer. I will be here for the next couple weeks, and then I'm going to have to figure out how summer's going when I go out to Colorado. I'm going to try to find a space I can record in. So stay tuned, but I'll be around for most of June, so that is the good news. So today we're going to focus on the Mula Banda. So you're like, a Mula Banda. So the bandhas in yoga traditionally are the locks, those energetic locks. Like, probably most of you are like, I do not know what she's talking about. But the one we're going to focus on today is the one at the bottom of the pelvis. So the pelvic bones are shaped kind of like a bowl, and at the bottom, there's only muscles and the holes that we're familiar with to urinate and have babies and to defecate. So this sling of muscles are really important. And as we age, sometimes those muscles don't stay as strong. So the more common thing that you've probably heard of is Kegels. So Kegels are a way of engaging those muscles, or at least that's what they're supposed to be doing. And that is the same, or very similar to the Mula Banda. So I usually don't talk about this, obviously, because most of you are like, I don't know, haven't heard you say this before. But today I'm gonna demonstrate how to use that, and then how we can continue to use that in all the poses of yoga. So that's where we're going. This practice you could also do today without engaging your Mula Bandha once. But if you do, it's a really great workout to strengthen the muscles of your pelvic floor. The other bandhas are in your throat, and so you put your chin down, but we're not going to talk about any of those today. Okay, stick with me. That being said, as usual, let's settle in. Let your eyes close. Come into a comfortable seated position with a long, tall spine. Crown of the head reaches up. And you can sense your sits bones rooted on the earth, your mat, or whatever you're sitting on. And then we're going to bring that attention to the breath. I think it was last class I talked about thinking about our ribs as an umbrella. And as we inhale, opening the ribs 360 degrees, with the overflow filling our belly, this expansion, and the exhale, the closing of the ribs, and the closing of the umbrellas, pulling into the core. So follow some breaths like that. Umbrella inhales, fills, and on the exhale, it closes. Now we're going to go ahead and start talking about that Mula Bandha. In this next breath, on the inhale, we fill. And on the exhale, as you exhale, I want you to pull up as if you're squeezing, picking up a blueberry with your anus. So the squeezing comes from the bottom and then pulls up all the way on the exhale, as if you're zipping up your pants. And then inhale. Relax your bottom, relax. zipping up, so squeezing at the bottom. It also can be as if a jellyfish and you're bringing all the tentacles of the jellyfish together at your bottom. And then pulling it up the spine, a sense of closing a book or zipping up your pants. Emptying completely. Sometimes we call that pulling belly to spine. And inhale. Filling up and relaxing. Take just a regular breath in between, because it's a lot to think about. Inhale again. Filling up, 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 filling belly, and exhaling, zipping it up, pulling up from the bottom. Kegeling, pulling in and up. Inhale again. So we're accentuating that exhale and holding it at the top so we can feel that folding, that contraction of those core muscles. Pause again in between. Let's do one more like that. We're going to come back to this again. Inhale, filling up. Opening the umbrella, filling the belly. And exhaling, zip. Squeeze from the bottom up. Also, sometimes I sense this squeezing from the bottom up of like a tube of toothpaste. So like comes, the belly pulls in, there's a pulling up under the ribs. That holding. And then let's just breathe normally. I'm going to read you this poem. Where you just relax into normal breath, becoming aware of the now. It's on satisfaction. This is on meditations for women who do too much. A book someone gifted me. Satisfaction with one's life is like being anointed with warm oil. It is so peaceful to read the words of someone who is content. Often we equate contentment and satisfaction with stagnation. They are anything but that. True satisfaction with one's life is an acceptance of what is. Continue to prepare for what can be while letting go of what we thought needed to be. I'm going to read that sentence again because I think there's so much there. True satisfaction with one's life is an acceptance of what is. Continuing to prepare for what can be while letting go of what we thought needed to be. Satisfaction is an active place of quietude, a busy place of stillness. That's another great line. Satisfaction is a relief in living, rarely felt by women who do too much. Satisfaction is the soul breathing a sigh of relief. From that place, we'll start our practice. We inhale together and exhale. You decide if you're using your Mula Banda here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And with that next inhale, we open our eyes and raise our arms to the sky. Inhale and exhale. Hands come down. I'm going to invite you to every breath, inhale and exhale, if you can, to engage that Mula Banda. Inhale. Exhale. Pull it all in. One more, thinking about the Mula Banda. Inhale. And exhale, strengthening the pelvic floor. Good job. Let's go ahead and roll over our knees. We're going to bring that same awareness to all fours and cat and cow. Now I want you to, I'm going to add a bonus in by picking a block and putting it between our thighs. and then, so you can see it like this. There you go. And then come to all fours again. So, we're going to inhale in cow, like we often do. Nose comes up, chin comes up, tail comes up, belly drops. There's an kind of relax the whole bottom. And then on the exhale, let's again engage the Mula Banda. So exhale as you look back. And see if as you squeeze the block, the squeezing of the block is the reminder to be pulling up into lifting the pelvic floor and then pulling the belly and zipping it up. So inhale and exhale. Squeeze, zip it up. Inhale. Squeeze. Zip it up. And you'll find these poses that we've done over and over so easily, suddenly it's bringing all this concentration and new experience to the same poses. So we bring active engagement of that pelvic floor. Now come to neutral spine, give it a wiggle, breathe normally. We're going to take this up a level if you want. So we're going to inhale again. Well, first tuck your toes and put them on the floor. Inhale, look up, tailbone up. And then this time on the exhale, if you want, we're going to come that inch off the floor, squeeze in, and pull it all in as you arch. And then inhale, knees down, look up. Relaxation, and exhale. Knees come up, squeeze thighs, lift the pelvic floor, belly pull it. So go ahead, I'm going to be quiet as you concentrate and as you do these cat and cows with the optional knee lift. At your rate, and then let's come back to neutral spine and wiggle. I just engage my muscles so much under my ribs that one like just spasm there. Engaging those muscles in new ways. Let's leave that block where it is for now. And if we're going to do a couple more, we're going to first do plank. And again, same program. See if you can inhale and exhale, bringing attention to the pelvic floor while in plank. These are very advanced to be able to engage the Mula Banda in poses. Let's set it down and bring our hips back to child's pose. So just as important as engaging and strengthening the pelvic floor is relaxing the pelvic floor. And one of the best poses to do that is child's pose, right here. Where we relax deeply. Because some people get an over spasm of the pelvic floor also, so you can have both sides. So doing the opposite, this relaxation in child pose is important because we're bringing so much concentration to that. Come on up to all fours, give it a wiggle. I still have that block in place. We're going to go to downward dog now. Belly to thighs. First is bring some attention to the upper body. Spread those fingers wide. Drop the head between the upper arms. And then let's reach those heels back while still squeezing that block. So that alone is probably changing this pose for you. And then once you find your downward dog, let's try it upside down. Inhale and exhale. Squeezing thighs, lift pelvic floor, belly to spine, and then back. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, relax back into your heels. There's almost a sense of your bottom blossoming. Okay, that may sound weird. And on the exhale again, squeeze, pull it in. 2 more like that. And then let's set the knees down back to child's pose. So this practice might feel slow, but it's very concentrated and deliberate in what we're doing. Let's go ahead and remove that block now. Set it aside. And go ahead and meet me in downward dog again. No block, pedal it out. And then let's walk our feet up to our hands for our first forward fold. Hang the head, stretch out the back of your legs. Bend the knees as much as feels right. We're not going to play with the Mula Banda here, although you can. We're just going to be in forward fold for a few breaths more. And then let's roll it up. I do want you to find that block again. Because we're going to do some more in standing. Told you we're going to experiment with this in lots of different poses. So put that block back between the thighs. Hips will naturally be hip width apart. And then really we talked a little bit about this on Tuesday, but this having your pelvic floor, if you drop the line, will be right over your ankles. Really sensing this alignment of mountain pose, which we do in yoga. And then we're going to engage that whole thing just here in standing, so it might not look like I'm doing anything, but we'll be feeling. So the inhale, if you want to, you could even put your hands on your lower ribs. Inhale, feel that expansion, and then exhale, the squeezing, the lifting, and the pulling in. And then inhale again. So you'll literally feel it in your fingertips. You can feel that engagement. You might also try putting your hands here at your heels of your palms on your hips, and then your fingertips across that lower belly. You want to feel there too. Inhale, we lift. Fill the belly, fill the ribs. Exhale. Squeeze and pull it all in. Lift the pelvic floor. Feel that lifting, that engaging, as if you're that jellyfish visual, like that, or the anus picking up a blueberry. couple more breaths here. Now we're going to up the game again. On the inhale, we're going to sit back in chair. So inhale, keeping the block. And then on the exhale, see if you can engage. Squeeze the block, engage the Mula Banda, belly pulls towards spine. Again, if you want to put your hands on your knees, those knees are over ankles, wherever you feel right with your hands is fine. So actually, let's do this. This might make it easier. Inhale, we'll sit back. Exhale as you pull it in. We're going to come all the way back up to standing, almost like you're sipping a smoothie up a straw. You're like, or that squeezing of the toothpaste up. So here we are. Exhale, all the way back to that mountain pose, and then inhale, sit back. So we'll make this active. Exhale, pull in and up. And then inhale, sit back. Exhale, inhale. Oh, shoot. And maybe you're like me. See, I'm still struggling too, where I'm like, wait, that's inhale, that's exhale. Inhale, sit back. Exhale. So, hope it gives you hope when your teacher struggles. Okay, inhale, sit down and back. Exhale, zip it up, suck up through the straw. Inhale. Exhale. Zip it up. Inhale, sit down. Exhale, zip it up. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, last one. And remove the block. So as you can see, that can be a lot to focus on. And you may think, wow, this so far I haven't really done a lot of hard poses, but bringing this much intentionality to these bandas levels up the whole practice. So some of the hardest practice I've ever done is when they have us focusing on this banda in every single pose. So we're going to experiment some more different poses. Bring it in as much as you can. Okay? We're going to do a sun salutation, and we'll pause in a couple places to bring attention to the bandas. And at the same time, if you need a break, feel free to take the break from that attention and just come into regular flow. Inhale, hands reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, back to plank. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, cobra. So see, you can engage the bandas on every exhale. Inhale, back to downward dog. Exhale, stay here. You decide. Every exhale, you have another chance to lift the pelvic floor. Inhale, look up. step, reach up to that spot. Inhale halfway. Exhale. Inhale all the way up. Hands touch. Exhale. Mountain pose. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale halfway. Exhale, back to plank. We did one here, so it should feel familiar. Inhale, lower down. Inhale, up dog or cobra. So stay here in up dog or cobra. We often talk about bringing that energy from our toes up our legs, through the bandha, and all the way up to the crown of our head. And now you can kind of feel that, hopefully. Back to downward dog. Inhale. Blossoming the buttocks. I kind of like that saying. And we pause here. Let's inhale, look up. Between the thumbs, exhale, walk, step, jump to that spot. Forward fold. Inhale halfway. Lift the crown, reach the hips back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands through heart. Mountain pose. Now we're going to do the chair one. So inhale, hands up, hips back. Exhale. Let's do one Mula Banda there and hold. Inhale again. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, hands to the floor. Walk or step back to plank. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, up dog. Inhale, down dog. Now we're going to move on. Lift that right foot to the sky. Hold three-legged dog. Just hold that. Level up your hips. Don't pop it up. This one we're trying to keep hips level. Reach that heel up as high as you can while keeping the head between your upper arms. Really feeling the structure of this pose. And then let's bring that foot all the way up between the hands. Coming on up to high lunge. So now let's bring our hands to our hips. We are going to attempt to engage the Mula Banda in this pose. It gets even more challenging when the legs are spread like this. So maybe shorten the distance a little more than usual. Inhale. Ribs reach up, crown of head reach up, and then exhale. Pull it all in. So this is what we talk about, and we're going to do it again in Warrior 1 and Warrior 2, but that exhale for pulling the Mula Banda up and engaging the legs toward each other. So again, inhale, ribs up, exhale, pull it all in. You can really feel it engage. Let's go ahead and turn the left heel down and straighten the right leg. Pausing here, giving ourselves a break from the Mula Banda work. I think we'll just go ahead and do it in some other poses right now. So go ahead with left heel down, bend back into the right knee. So we're in Warrior 1. And then we'll try it with heel down. See if that gives you more stability. Inhale. Lifting, opening, filling ourselves up. And exhale. Just pulling in. The heels pull toward each other as if we're engaging those inner thighs. The pelvic floor lifts. Belly folds in. I've often told you, keep going. Breathing and engaging. That anytime you think you're All right, the yoga's getting easy. There's always more you can be doing. There's more challenges. There's more to think about. And this is a really big one. So you're like, oh, I know how to do warrior one. But can you do warrior one like this? One more like this. And then let's straighten that leg. Give ourselves a break. Actually, let's turn both feet parallel. And let's do a forward fold. Just because it really does take so much more concentration, it feels like we need a break here. So walk your hands back. Forearms are parallel and drop the crown of the head. Let the upper body hang. Now if you want, if you're still in that experiment, curious, like, ooh, can I do it upside down? We know you can because you did it in downward dog. You can do it here. Upper body stays relaxed. The inhale, filling up, relaxing the bottom, and exhale, pulling it all in. Or you can just hang here. You decide. And then let's walk our hands forward. I'm enjoying being really curious about all these poses. Right hand up, a little twist. And down, left hand up, a little twist. Hand down. Just come all the way back up. So that right toe pointed out, or I just flipped around so I could see the screen. Bend back into it. And we're going to go into warrior two. Playing with the same thing, so arms out, get yourself positioned. Hips are parallel with the long side, arms are spread wide. So now you know where we're going. On the inhale, sense this filling up, this expansion, and exhale, the squeezing, starting leg squeeze in, pelvic floor lifts, and belly pulls to spine. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Lift, pull it in, pull it in, pull it up. And then let's straighten out leg. Let's go ahead and move those ribs forward, drop the hand and come into triangle. You decide if you want to experiment here. I'm not going to guide you, I'm just going to let you guide yourself. One more breath. And come on up. So from here, let's bend into that right knee. Cartwheel arms, pop up the left heel, step back, lower down. Inhale up, dog. Exhale down, dog. Pausing here before we go to the other side. Left leg to the sky for three-legged dog. Pause here, really feeling the structure of three-legged dog. Level out the hips, reach up through that left heel. Then bring that left foot up. Come up into high lunge. And again, you know where we're going. On this side, we're again going to play with the Mula Bandas. You decide where you want your hands and adjust the stance. But the inhale, fill yourself up. And exhale, lift and pull it all in. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. One more here, inhale, and exhale. And then let's turn that right heel down. I'm going to do it one more. One. Inhale and exhale. I really feel like I'm getting a much bigger workout in my lower body here. I'm really pulling in and engaging. Inhale. Exhale. Squeeze, lift, pull it in. Inhale. Expand, exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And let's straighten that leg. Give ourselves this break. I think this is where we turned. Feet parallel with the short sides of the mat. And this time let's bring our hands behind our back, interlace our fingers, and forward fold again. Drop the hands, walk them out, and lift yourself halfway. Let's try one right here. Inhale. Fill yourself up. Exhale. Pull the inner thighs together. Lift the Mula Banda. Pull the belly in. Empty all the way. Inhale. And this time come all the way up. Nicely done. Let's turn the left toes to the top of the mat. Bend into that left knee. And come into warrior two. You know where you're going. Get yourself lined up. Inhale. Filling, stretching out the fingertips. Exhale, pull it in. Lift. Hold. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Two more. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. And straighten out that leg. I feel like I'm going to be potentially sore tomorrow from these. Left hand forward. Drop that left hand, right hand up. Find yourself in triangle, and this is the one that I said, if you want to play with it here, go ahead. And I'm going to let you guide yourself. But we will be taking 5 long breaths. This one's 3. And last one. And come on back up. Bend into the left knee and cartwheel those hands. Step back. Lower down. Inhale, up, down. And exhale, child's pose. So, like I said, very concentrated, slow practice today. But we're doing really important work. Our pelvic floor is so important in aging and after childbirth, actually our whole life as women. So we don't have leakage, we don't have prolapse of our organs later in life.
exhale is pulling in and up. You can practice this anywhere, sitting in traffic, standing in the grocery line, no one will know what you're doing. But it's like a more advanced form of a Kegel, I guess is how I would explain it. I think sometimes Kegels aren't taught that well. And learning to challenge ourselves to do it in different positions. That way, as we age, when we cough or we sneeze or we jump on a trampoline, we won't have leakage and problems. So there's your Mula Banda pep talk. Hopefully you'll come back to this and practice some more. Let's go ahead and come on up, and let's go ahead and come to seated position. Let's bring our soles of our feet together. So we're gonna adjust our sits bones, lift the crown of our head, and yes, we're gonna practice it again right here. So inhale, filling ourselves up, and exhaling, lifting the pelvic floor and belly. Again. 3 more. Lift, squeeze, close the umbrella, inhale, open the umbrella, exhale, close, starting at the base, lifting, pulling in, and breathe normal. So that's the strengthening of the pelvic bowl, and then as we walk our hands forward, we can breathe normally into relaxation, and some opening and stretching of our hips. Use your blocks, use your bolsters here to find the support you need. Contrast, strengthen, relaxation. And walking the hands back up, closing the book, straightening the legs, rock the hips back and forth, pull the toes toward your nose. Deep sigh. Let's pull that right knee up and drop it out to the side and bring the sole of the foot to the inside. We're going to do all 3 variations of this pose. So this is the first one. From here we're going to forward fold and walk, slide our hands down our left leg. You can decide in these forward folds if you're experimenting, can you do it in this pose? Now the next variation of this pose that I've done with you sometimes, but not very often, is we lift our hips and we shift so the heel is in our Mula Banda, in that pelvic floor. The toes are pointing down this left leg.
and the knees still pointing out to the side, and move forward, fold again. So that heel gives us that cue on the exhale to pull everything in. The last one. And walk the hands back up. You take yourself off there. And then the third variation, again, that we rarely do, is you take this foot, and some people call it Barbie toes. We put the 5 toes down, and we put the heel into the thigh and the, yeah, like so. And you forward fold. So I feel like I did it. You can also like actively use your hands to help you do that and push the heel into the thigh. Come on back up, and we'll do the other side. So bend that knee. Thank you, that was a lot. Bend the left knee. First we come into our basic tree pose, pressing the foot into the upper thigh and slide down the right leg. And come on back up. I totally forgot to do my Mula Bandas there, so hopefully you didn't. Let's sit on that heel. This helps you remember when you're sitting on your heel. And then forward fold. Inhale, filling up. Exhale. And then come on back up. And the Barbie toes. Place all 5 toes on the mat. And then press the heel into the thigh. Knee points out. So it's kind of, you feel like you're smashing your toes. And then forward fold. And come on back up and release that and shake it out. We realize we're running out of time. Come there back. So let's start on our backs, knees bent. And let's do our Mula Banda breathing on our back with our palms. Again, put the heels of your hands on your hip bones and the fingertips on the lower belly. And we're going to inhale, open the ribs, fill up the belly, and then exhale, pull it all in. Now, if you want, you can use the block again as that cue between your legs. So put the block between your legs. And again, inhale and exhale. That's squeezing the block and then lifting the Mula Banda helps. So you'll notice your fingertips are literally spreading apart on the inhale as you feel that belly, and then exhale. Exhale, exhale, those fingertips touch or maybe even overlap. Find your own rhythm of breath. this next. Exhale, put your hands on the mat next to you and lift. On the exhale, inhale here. Open the ribs. Exhale again with hips up, so we're in bridge. Again, walk those shoulders in. Inhale. Filling up. Exhale. And then lower. Breathe normally. We're going to do those 3 conscious Mula Banda breaths again in bridge. We get another chance here. Inhale, fill yourself up, relax, and exhale, lift. Squeeze, empty. Inhale, lift here. Exhale, walk the shoulders in. Squeeze, empty. And set it down. Well done. Let's go ahead and windshield wiper the knees to the right and the left. And the right. And the left. Let's bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees open. Bring your fingertips above your head. You can interlace your fingers and put them behind your head if you want, or make that diamond shape around your head. And we're going to just breathe normally here. And then if you want, you can try to conscious Mula Banda breath here. You'll feel that natural, at this point should feel familiar. The inhale, there's just the slightest more arch in the back as the belly fills. On the exhale, as we bring belly towards spine, there's a slight pulling back, but you're not pushing the lower back into the mat. Lifting the Mula Banda. Last one with the Mula Banda breathing. And then relax again. Into normal breath. And close the book. Pull those knees together. Feet flat on the floor. Bring our hands back. Let's bring the knees toward the chest. Grab the knees, rock back and forth. Make some circles. Massage that back. At the end of this practice, spread your arms wide and drop your knees to the right. Eyes look toward the left and then close. Normal breathing. Relaxing deeply and letting go into the twist. We kind of did a workout of those deep muscles, abdominals. The ones we can't see. relaxation here in our twist. And back to center. Happy baby. Happy baby is another great pose that's relaxing the pelvic floor. Rock back and forth. Stretch, wiggle. Relaxing, maybe relaxing into stillness and happy baby. Something even asking you to wiggle and rock. Just a pause in stillness and happy baby. And then let's bring the knees together, shins together, ankles and big toes together as we wrap our arms around our shins. Bring your nose toward your knee. Maybe you can kiss those knees. Give yourself some love. Nice job. Challenging practice. Squeeze tight. And all the way out to Shavasana. Arms and legs can come off the mat. Relax, bring conscious relaxation to the entire pelvic bowl, letting those hips sink deeply into the mat, lower back, letting the thighs be heavy and relaxed, the calves, ankles, toes. Deeply relax into your shoulder blades and the upper back. Feeling the weight of the arms, the back of the hands. Relax your palms and your fingertips. Relax the muscles of your face. I will mind the time and you relax. I will read you the poem on satisfaction as you relax. Satisfaction with one's life is like being anointed with warm oil. It is so peaceful to read the words of someone who is content. Often we equate contentment and satisfaction with stagnation. They are anything but that. Here's the goal. True satisfaction with one's life is an acceptance of what is. Loving what is. Continuing to prepare for what can be while letting go of what we thought needed to be. Satisfaction is an active place of quietude, a busy place of stillness. Satisfaction is a relief and living rarely felt by women who do too much. Satisfaction is the soul breathing a sigh of relief. So taking that big sigh of relief here in satisfaction and a practice well done, we will rest. from this place of stillness, bring one hand to the heart and one hand to the belly. As you bring awareness to the rise and fall of the breath. Go ahead and stretch those hands over the head. Giving yourself a wiggle, 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 wiggle as you roll to your right side. Bring your head to your upper arms, bring your knees toward your chest as we bring this moment, this breath, this time, this stillness to gratitude. With that heart full of love and gratitude, go ahead and push yourself back up to a seated position. This time we'll bring our hands to our heart. We'll inhale through the nose and exhale with an audible sound. 2 more times. Inhale. One more breath on the inhale and sound on the exhale. That vibration. That peace, that stillness, that sacred place in me honors that in every one of you. Thank you for sharing this practice with me and showing up for your practice and spreading that loving kindness throughout the world. Namaste.